too much money and too much power is held by just a few people. And it's only getting worse. So, we decided to do something about it.
Hey lady, shut up!
What is up, space pirates? This is your Admiral, the always optimal Dr. Disaster, and much has been made of the fact that most of the live service games that Sony has announced in the past few years have either failed or have been cancelled, as if the fact that they are live service alone, as if that has been the problem. But honestly, I think the biggest problem with these games has been that Sony misunderstands the characters that people want to use in video games. For example, look at Concord, one of the biggest gaming flops of all time. It was filled to the brim with butt-ugly characters.
The only reason God doesn't erase you from the face of the earth is because you amused him somehow.
Marathon is another Sony live service game that was so poorly received that it got pushed back from a September release all the way to next spring because, at least in part, because the character designs were these androgynous and gross-looking robot people.
And then you wonder why no one takes you seriously. Sweetie.
Meanwhile, Sony has had some success with live service. Helldivers 2 sold really well, and I can't help but notice that in this game, instead of weird and homely looking weirdos that look like they belong in Antifa, you get to play as badass armored soldiers like something out of Warhammer 40k or Halo. Gamers saw Helldivers and said, groovy. So it is possible for live service games to do well, which tells me that these failures aren't so much a result of the games being live service. Instead, the common denominator is the fact that these Sony studios don't know who gamers want to play as. The title Fairgames is yet another Sony game where they fundamentally misunderstand what gamers like. This game features a host of progressive, shit-lib clown characters who go around stealing from the rich because the politics of greed and envy have rotted their feeble minds.
Microaggression, cultural appropriation, offensive.
Well, because of this horrible miscalculation, Fairgames, which was supposed to come out this year, is in big trouble. News has just come out that the game director for this title is no longer at Haven Studios, and at this point, I would almost be shocked if Fairgames even ends up being released, though I must confess that selfishly, I really hope that it does come out because I love to make fun of the failures of games like this.
Oh look, an idiot. Let's point and laugh.
Alright, me hearties, make sure that you hit the like button on this video, share it with your friends, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Also, I've started uploading content onto Rumble, so make sure to follow me over there, and don't forget to follow me over on X, where I keep a list of games lousy with wokeness pinned to my account at all times for your reference. My handle over there is Dr. Disaster 1. Anyways, let's talk about Fairgames and the likelihood that this game is going to be cancelled. I find it really amusing how the studio that has developed Fairgames was founded. Jade Raymond was one of its founders. If you aren't familiar with her, she worked as a producer for the first few Assassin's Creed games for Ubisoft, the good ones that put that franchise on the map. She is a feminist nutbag who jumped on the woke bandwagon when Gamergate hit about a decade ago, and she took credit for the success of Assassin's Creed to the point that she was able to leverage her reputation into becoming the founder and studio head of Haven Studios, which existed under the Sony umbrella, sorta like Sucker Punch and Naughty Dog. And immediately, in all of her gaming wisdom, Jade decided to make Fairgames as the studio's first project. Well, due to how truly awful this game looks, the game was reportedly received extremely poorly. They had an external test of the game, apparently a few months ago, and the feedback was not good. I mean, let's face it, the characters that they show in this game don't give off GTA vibes or anything. I don't want to play as these people. I want to play as the law enforcement that catches these insufferable jackasses who chant "eat the rich" because they are so ideologically possessed. And clearly I'm not alone. Look at the reveal trailer for this game from a couple years ago. They got destroyed by the ratio on this thing with 4.4 thousand likes to 61,000 dislikes. That is a ratio of almost 14 to 1. So, with all of that context in mind, Sony clearly understands what a catastrophe they have on their hands, and Jade Raymond left the company a few months ago, leading to speculation that this game would be canceled. And now, we are getting this news here. Let's read what is happening. This article comes from Insider Gaming. It says at the bottom there, Fairgames was the talk of the town a few weeks back when it was rumored that Haven Studios had canceled the upcoming live service shooter. This claim was retracted within a matter of hours, and as far as we know, Fairgames continues to be developed and backed by PlayStation. However, prospective fans of the game have used their eagle-eyed powers to learn that yet another high-ranking departure has occurred at Haven Studios, as the game director of Fairgames has left the company. This news comes just 3 months after the studio's founder also left for greener pastures, and I just want to point out that it's very possibly not prospective fans of the game who notice this news. I don't think this game has any fans. No, most likely this was noticed by someone who wants to mock Haven Studios for making such an abominably stupid game. But anyhow, let's read on. The recent retraction of the claim that Fairgames was canceled was enough to shake the boat considerably, as the rumor sent gamers into a spiral, wondering about the future of this seemingly ill-fated live service shooter. Fairgames was revealed in 2023, and since the first trailer dropped, almost nothing more has been shared about the game's development. Haven Studios was founded in 2021 to bring the game to life, but it seems things aren't going as well as expected. Jade Raymond, one of the studio's founders, departed the team in May, and now the game's director has also split. So the founder and head of the studio is gone, and a few months later the director of the game is also gone. That should tell you everything you need to know about how awful this game looks. Sony is clearly very unhappy with what Fairgames looks like thus far, but reading on, the article says it was discovered by a Reddit user that Daniel Drapo, the former game director at Haven Studios, has left the company to take up a role at WB Games Montreal. He's now a creative director at the studio, most recently known for Gotham Knights and for assisting on Suicide Squad, which isn't the best track record. Yeah, well, that is why studios like that keep on making dog shit games. They hire the sort of people who made dog shit games. Outside of studios like Saber Interactive, Shift Up, or Sandfall, outside of studios like that, most of these studios are a club of people who don't give a crap if a developer is responsible for a big failure. They just know that he's one of them. He's in the club, so to speak, so he will always land on his feet, which removes the incentive to actually make games that gamers really want. I mean, look here, the dude went from a game director to a creative director of an entire studio. That's not exactly a punishment, is it? But as for that discussion at the beginning of the video, the idea that these studios have had, where they take every franchise and try to turn it into a live service project, well, that is pretty damned asinine. Loads of franchises really want to be single player, and Sony has always been known for games like that. All that being said though, live service doesn't have to be a failure by its very nature. Helldivers shows that it can work. It all comes down to how a game is designed. In my view, the narrative that Fairgames is a flop due to its live service components is just a convenient scapegoat for the elephant in the room. These studios keep producing woke slop that nobody wants to see. For example, Haven Studios was founded, as I said just a few minutes ago, in 2021. That was at the height of wokeness. So it is not surprising at all that Fairgames was going to be all about this sort of woke, progressive narrative where they go around stealing from the rich. That's not surprising at all, and it's not surprising in 2025 to see it failing hard. Live service, though, is not my favorite, but it is not necessarily a horrible thing that automatically dooms a game to fail. Anyhow, I'm going to leave it there. Drop your derision of Fairgames and Sony into the comment section below, and we will talk there. Thanks for watching me, Hearties. If you haven't already, your Admiral is inviting you to subscribe to the channel and become a part of the crew. Life as a space pirate may not be glamorous, but there's always plenty of booty.